Okay, let's set the record straight. If I could speak straight, if I could speak proper English, let's put the record straight, shall we? Okay, so this video is in response to why is it that I only talk about women and abuse when I'm talking online, when I'm doing my vlogs, and when I'm talking about my business. And the truth of the matter is, in my business, I only work with women. Now, I'm very happy with that. My clients are very happy with that. And here's why I only work with women. It's because my expertise is with women. I have worked with women and trauma for the last 30 years. I have, how am I now? 53 years of lived experience of my own traumas and the recovery and healing journey that I have been on. That doesn't mean to say that I don't think the issues are similar for men, or however people identify. I do other work. I speak on radio shows. I'm involved with a group in the US that is any gender. It's genderless. It's about abuse and abuse as a broader subject. But for my business, I work specifically with women. So getting comments that are saying that I'm not being fair because I'm not talking about men, and that I don't have men in my description in terms of my bio on my YouTube channel, and that hinting that I am discriminating against men is a bit of a joke, because that actually it couldn't be further from the truth. If you don't want to listen to me talking about the abuses that women face, then go to another channel where someone is going to talk about and represent the experiences it is that you are having. But I am not going to change the way I work, how I work, who I work with, how I talk about women that have been experienced abuse, experienced trauma, because you feel that I am not representing men in the way that you would particularly like. It's not going to happen, because I absolutely believe that, and from all of my 20 years, it's longer than that, 30 years of working with people at risk, is that I know from that experience that you need specific containers, specific groups for different people who have experienced different things. So I would never in a million years bring everybody together to talk about their shared experiences of abuse. It would be a disaster, and it would be ethically wrong. Hence the reason why I work with women in the way that I work with them, or as anybody else who identifies as a woman. I used to do a lot of work a long time ago in the community where people identified themselves. Back then, actually, there would have been about 3 or 4 categories, not like there is now. Times have changed, which is good. So I'm not going to sit here and apologise, and I'm not going to sit here and change the way I think. But there is a possibility in the future that I will change the way I think, because I develop concepts and the way I think about things all the time. Things do change. But at the moment, my channel is predominantly about supporting women. It is about women's stories of trauma and abuse. And if that doesn't suit you and you don't like the way I'm expressing it or talking about it or specifically supporting women through that process and that journey of healing, then you need to unsubscribe and you need to find another channel. What else do I have to say? I made some notes. Let me check my notes. I'm not in a position to talk about men's experiences or people's experiences who define themselves as men. There are absolutely differences between the way women process and the way men process. My expertise is not in that field, and it's not a field that I feel comfortable dipping my toes into. And again, ethically, it would be wrong for me to do that because of the trauma it is that I have experienced by the hands of men. I have experienced by the hands of women, but I've experienced more trauma by the hands of men. So ethically, it would be absolutely wrong for me. Oh, cat fight. It would be ethically wrong for me to work with guys face to face because I don't understand the complexity of the issues it is that they face and the way they heal and recover. And also, I have to be mindful that my own stuff would interfere with the relationship, for sure. And I know that, so I don't do it. And you know what, you can intellectualize this as much as you want. That's not going to make a difference. You can bamboozle me with intellectual comments. That's not going to make a blind bit of difference, because, you know, after having as much experience as I have and worked with people at risk for such a long time, that's absolutely not going to change, because I know the system is well and truly broken. So intellectualizing it, telling me that I must be thinking one way, isn't going to do it either. I have my own thoughts. I think independently. One of the reasons why I wanted to bring together the books was that to show a different perspective, that women can heal, that there are other avenues that they can explore outside of the traditional counselling and talking therapies, and outside of medication, or sitting alongside talking therapies and medication. So making it theoretical isn't going to make me change my mind either, because I have very strong views on what I believe that can help more people to recover and heal from trauma. So I just wanted to set the record straight and be blunt and be to the point, because that is my nature, that is who I am, and I think it is the best way to be when you're addressing comments that people are sharing with you when they're nameless and faceless, which is how social media goes. Let's face it. You know, if you want to have a conversation with me, just book in my diary and we can have a chat about it. That's absolutely fine. But, you know, I am here to share women's stories of trauma recovery and healing, to share the stories of abuse it is that they have experienced through the power of books and storytelling. The other work that I do, which is about advocacy work around abuse, represents everybody, but I have a very different role when I do that. So it's not to say that I devalue men's experiences, although I might get a few comments now saying that I do, but actually I don't. I just pick and choose selectively how I do that. But that isn't on my Facebook page, and it isn't on my YouTube channel. That's not where I do it. But as I've said, if you don't like what I'm saying, if you don't like what I represent, then you need to just unsubscribe, do yourselves a favour, stop winding yourself up, because you're not going to be able to change my mind. And you need to find a guy or a woman who is talking about trauma and abuse that you can relate to, rather than trying to change and manipulate the situation to your own advantage, so you can understand how it fits into your bubble, into your narrative. Because I'm not going to play that game. Hence the reason why I work for myself. So I'm going to love and leave you. I've had a very long day. Well, I've had a lovely day, actually. I've been to Trat, the mainland, and done some shopping. I don't get off the mainland very often, but it's nice. It's nice when I do. I'm going to chill out for the rest of this evening. Actually, no, I might actually write some notes for my book, for the chapter in the up-and-coming book. I think that's what I will do. But yeah, any comments, leave them below. If you're going to banter on around how I should be representing men for, and you can leave them, but I'm not going to respond to them, because I think that's pretty inaccurate. But there you go. All right then, loves. I will maybe see you tomorrow. Maybe I won't see you tomorrow. But whatever you're doing today, have an absolutely gorgeous day.